from my Carolina home. Had dreams about the West and started to roam. 6 long months on a dust-covered trail. They say heaven's at the end, but so far it's been hell. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. We were digging and shifting from 5 to 5, selling everything we found just to stay alive. Gold flowed free like the whiskey in the bars. Sinning was the big thing, Lord, and Satan was a star. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And blood lined the streets. Men were shot down for the sake of having fun, or just to hear the noise of their 44 guns. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Now my widow, she weeps by my grave. Tears flow free for her man couldn't save. Shot down in cold blood by a gun that carried fame, all for the useless and no good, worthless claim. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Live. Whoops. Hey, YouTubers and friends, how are all of you doing tonight? And welcome. What's that? Aurora Gold NZ, New Zealand. I would love to go there, do some sniping or dredging. Everybody, welcome to another Tuesday night Hangout Live. I hope you are all totally wicked, awesome, cool, grand, and all gearing up well for this Christmas season. It is upon us. I'm using one of my older mics, so let me know how it's sounding. I don't see any of you yelling at me quite yet, so all good. Eric Carter, good to see you. Keith Netherworld, good to see you. Hola, amigo David Villa. Bill, how are you, Mr. Marsh? Audio sounds great. Thank you. Terry Curry, David Alfonsade's in the house. Hello. Greg, AU Diver 79, good to see each and every one of you. T-Rip. Next time I'm up in Washington, T, I'll definitely let you know. Hit up Blewett Pass or wherever we may find some of that Pacific Northwest shiny. Definitely, buddy. I wasn't ignoring you in that room. I'm just old and sometimes my fingers hurt. Gary Simpson, Bering Sea Gold on the Wild Ranger. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for your offer for a surprise guest, but I have my friend, another friend of mine on tonight from Arizona, Jack Tucker, Gold Fever Adventure and Treasure Hunting Resort. He's also been a sponsor of Flash Bash in the past and a few of the giveaways I've had before. Lawrence L., good to see you. Or good to see you, Mike. Evergreen Prospectors was like second in here tonight. Thank you very much. Willie, Tin Man Magnet Fishing, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, buddy. Is Shane in here? I think you did it again, Greg. That's Bill, Ohio Relic Hunter. Or you know that. No, you're saying OHR as like Ohio History Hunter or River. Or am I messing up? I know you. Never mind me. I'm having a major blonde moment, but before I get any more discombobulated, let's head over to my other set and let's get the show started. started.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live. It's Tuesday night Hangout Live with your host Ed Marvin. Tuesday Night Hangout Live is a Flash in Your Pan production.
Oh yeah, super chat.
On it. I thought I checked all that stuff too. Well, if someone gives me a super chat, there it is. How you doing tonight, Jack?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, as best as I can be. You know how it is. Gotta stay positive, right?
That's all you can do.
It's getting to be you've been out busy finding some nuggies and stuff, haven't you?
I try to go out. Once upon a time, I used to hate metal detecting with a passion, and I used to hate metal detectors. But now I seem to love metal detecting, and I'm enjoying it. Yes.
Did my mic mess up? I think I touched a button on my mic.
No, I still hear you.
Great new technology I'm working with. Um, I've always enjoyed panning and high banking and dredging and stuff a lot more than detecting, but I have to admit I've been getting into it a lot more. I picked up a Equinox 800. I did really well with it in the mother load. Found some nice nuggets with it, and I've actually come across some nice relics and coins with it too. But can you share the story behind the creation of Gold Fever Adventures and how it evolved into the treasure hunting resort and club it is today?
Wow, man, we might be here for a while.
Well, we have a couple hours, my friend.
Oh, all right. I just got to take some breaks once in a while. No, I think that I used to I wouldn't say hang out, but used to associate or whatever you want to call it with like Tom and Perry, the Massey brothers, and
Didn't
used
you
to work.
work for the GPAA at one time?
Yeah, I worked for one of the camps, and then when I left that, I started doing the outings across the United States. So yeah, I've been to all the mining camps and their events and stuff like that. And then when we had our falling out, well, we kind of before, so we wanted to start the radio show, and we approached one of the people there in that, and it was Gold Fever. And kind of a spin-off with the Gold Fever television show, because Tom wasn't really doing the shows anymore. So we kind of wanted to kind of still keep that dream alive and pursue that. And so we approached one of the people there, and he wasn't sure about doing it at the time, and blah blah things. So we said, well, we're going to do it anyway. Where we try to get the funding for it. So we did it. We got permission to use the Gold Fever song from Cyril May, the one that wrote that song, and he gave us permission to use the song. So we started using the song, and it became Gold Fever, and started doing the videos, and then got involved with treasure hunting, and then thought we'd better incorporate the treasure hunting into that. And so that's kind of what it evolved today. I always wanted to own my own campground. And so an opportunity came available, and I snatched it up. So now I wished I never did anything.
What, like wish you never did buy the campground, or just wish you never did anything but what you're doing right now?
Well, I want to retire and I just want to travel and have fun. I don't want to be married to a campground and anything else. So I would just like to sell the campground. I still be a part of it, help them out, but have somebody else with deeper pockets run it, and I retire.
Well, with all the pans you have in the fire, will you ever be able to do that?
Yeah, to some degree. I don't want to keep doing this forever. I enjoy getting out. I'm going to go out Thursday. I'm taking off. I'll be gone for a week, going up go up and maybe do some metal detecting, some dry washing, look for some new claims to stake. That's what I'm going to do. So I just like to get away, have fun.
Like, my mic isn't as active or as
Papa, say cheese. Say cheese, Papa.
You know I'm live right now, right, honey?
No.
Cheese.
She's a magician.
Wait.
Beautiful, honey. Love you. Okay.
This.
That's what my microphone's sitting on. Sorry, everybody. The joys of live entertainment.
She's popping in and out of the green screen there. Or maybe that's just what I see. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, I'm seeing two different screens. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
what you're seeing is in Zoom is my that's my shop.
Okay.
And what's on the show is just something I threw together. Hey, Don G.
That's your green screen or whatever?
Yeah. She
Okay.
crawls under it, and she usually invades me every Tuesday night and get a papa hug in. But, who can pass down a hug from their granddaughter?
Oh, yeah.
Not me, so that won't happen. So I tell her to get in here, and sometimes she kicks with me a little longer than asking me to smile for a picture. And
Well, that's nice. So she admires Grandpa, so it could be worse.
yeah. I gotta live it up while I can. They grow up so fast, and next thing you know, they're doing their own thing and out and about and making you worry and all that stuff. So, but hey, I'm glad we have her as much as we have her now. Well, that's a cool story and stuff about where it started and where it's been and your ultimate goal. How soon do you want to sell it? Is it up for sale now?
It is kind of up for sale, but they've got to meet my demands. I want a permanent place to stay. I still want it to continue as it is. And so everything's got to be in place. And like I say, basically, I just want somebody else to kind of take it over and I'll just help them out and let them worry about all the headaches and fundings and stuff. And I just get to play and do the easy stuff.
There might, because it isn't being as reactive as I would like it to be.
Oh, I hear you fine. You're coming through fine on it.
On that end,
okay.
I'm more concerned about how it is. I'm not using StreamYard, as you know, so I'm running OBS, which is
Oh,
a streaming software, and it has more bells and whistles, and I can be more creative with it than like StreamYards or something like that. Though StreamYards is a great program, and I do use it. But for the past 6 years, I've been using OBS for Tuesday Night Hangout Live, and I tried to use StreamYards for it, but I just can't get it the feel that I've come up with for Tuesday Night Hangout
yeah. No, you
Live.
got to use what you're used to and what works. What's who was, let's see. Oh, Mega Silver Stacker said how much?
Yes, yes.
An awful lot.
An
Somewhere
awful lot.
around somewhere around the 5 neighborhood, between 5 and 6.
And I'm sure that has a M behind it.
Not an M, but it has some T's behind it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's not that. It's 24 acres, and we only utilize, probably half of it. So there's still a lot of room for development. I've only got 17 RV sites, like 12 full hookups and a cabin, and then we've got all the mining claims that are right here too. So it gives access to the mining claims. And a lot of people in camp right now, they'll take off, they'll go out to the claims and play all day, or get dirt and bring it back to camp and process it, hang out.
Well, it seems like that kind of camp from what I've seen on your Facebook groups and your website, and all those links are down in the description. Jack's website, his YouTube channel, his groups. I really wanted to stop by when I was on my way home last year around after Christmas time. But no, I only had so long with the rental car to get back home. And
Yeah.
Judy wasn't going for it. And I'm like, it's right up the road. We're in Quartzsite. It's right up the highway. No, I know
yeah.
how you are. Next thing you know, it'd be dark and we'd be, which,
Oh well.
yeah, next time. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a decent snowbird population at your camp, right?
Yeah, that's where people are right now. I mean, there's snowbirders. They'll come in basically for 6 months. Uh, like I say, they go out, spend the day out there, and then come back and hang out. Go find a little bit of color. We got in some nice we got in some nice nugget patches up there, which was nice to well, it's always nice when you get into nice nugget patches. We found a nice nugget patch up there. I don't know if anybody's here that's gone up around that area, but so I kept sending people. Mike Pung was up there one time, and he found a whole handful of nice nuggets. And then just above where he was at, we hit what we dubbed Gold Hill or Gold Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled one chunk off. It was an ugly piece of gold, but nobody wanted to buy it because it was ugly looking. You couldn't really see the gold in it, but the specific gravity test showed over 18 grams. And so I stuck it in some nitric and broke it down, and that's what I got out of that, was 18 grams. And I found that with my gold monster, so
nice.
I paid for my gold monster with that.
Right. And like the ones I found in California when I was there shortly after I bought my Knox, I either almost paid for the detector or almost paid for the trip.
Yeah.
Depends how you look at it.
Well, yeah, you never pay for the trip, but you might pay for, well, I like to go up to Meadview, so that's where I'm heading at. in Meadview, just up there south of Lake Mead. So we've got some claims up there, and that's some of the that's where I've done my best detecting. I mean, I've pulled over probably 300 nuggets up there, all with my 6,000. So my 6,000 is paid for itself with the gold that I've found up there.
Nice.
And I have a 7,000, and that hasn't even come close to paying for itself.
Well, both of those are fairly expensive detectors, you know, and even one like the Knox, I had 2 coils and 2 lower shafts, so the total was about $1,000, you know.
Yeah, Knox is a good machine. I have 2 Knoxes, 2 800s. People say, why do I have 2? It's because I don't want to switch coils from the small one to the big one, so I just switch machines.
There you go.
But it hasn't paid for itself. But when I went up to Nome, I took the 2300 with me and the Gold Monster with me. And every piece I found gold was just with the Gold Monster. I didn't find anything with the 2300. But a friend that I was with, he hunted every day with the Equinox, and he was finding just as much gold as I was with his Equinox as I was with the Gold Monster. So that's a decent machine.
Before I went out west to use it for actually looking for nuggets, I watched quite a bit of Bill Sutherland's stuff on the Knox 800, and I have to say, watching some of his stuff helped me out.
Yeah, I use the Equinox basically for treasures, going in parks, or if I'm, around camp. We have a lot of history on this property here because it's right on the highway. And so there used to be an old stage stop on the property. And
Oh,
that was
cool.
back in the late 1800s. And then in the early 1900s was a service station and garages along here. And so we have found a lot of old license plates and tags and different coins and tax tokens. So I use the Equinox for all of that type of stuff. Not for gold.
I bought the Equinox because it would have been a more well-rounded machine for me than going for something like the Gold Monster 1000. If I was where you are, or anywhere on the West Coast, I probably would have went with the Gold Monster. Pretty much because it's kind of idiot proof, isn't it?
Well, the Gold Monsters turn on a gold machine pretty well, but yeah, if you're just looking for gold only, but the bad thing with the Gold Monster, it picks up every single hot rock, so it's constantly going off, and you have to be able to decipher the tones in between it. Where the Equinox, it's got that VDI screen on that, so that gives you indication. Gold will be in the low numbers. Generally, most of the gold is like around 2 or 3, unless they're bigger pieces. But and it's a well-rounded machine, so it's got its advantages. So if I'm doing a little bit of everything, I would go with the Equinox. I wouldn't dedicate to a Gold Monster. I have 2 Gold Monsters too, because I don't want to switch coils on them either.
Well, that's why I got the lower extension, with both my coils. It makes switching out a lot easier. I just unscrew it, pop on the new extension with the 6-inch or whatever, and screw it back in, and off I go. I wouldn't want to sit there and put a coil and change out coils on the lower end. No.
And then you got to wrap that. I use them these type of straps, and I've got them all up and down my thing because none of my wires hang down. So I probably got 6 or 7, 8 of these straps, Velcro straps all. So that's a pain in the ass to have to take them all off to switch. And then, like you say, your lower, coil and unscrewing it. And oh no.
Right. I know you're a dealer of Gold Fox and several other things. You are a Mine Lab dealer also, aren't you?
No, no, they won't let me have a dealer for Mine Lab. I'm a Fisher and Garrett and Deus and Noctols and all them other ones, but no, they won't give me a Mine Lab dealership.
Is it because of Bill and Tammy, or?
No, no, I don't think it's because of them. We don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
We want everybody to stay happy.
right. Someone did bring up, I think it was David Villa, was don't bring up Mine Lab.
Oh yeah.
Too late,
Yeah.
David.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you, David.
he said that a long time ago. I just wasn't paying
yeah.
you know me. I can be difficult at times, David. So
Yeah, that's a topic, a rabbit hole we don't want to go down right now. So,
David's going, Ed, look out, you might start something.
yeah, no, we don't want to get into that. It's we want to keep this show friendly.
Right. After all, I do try and be a family-friendly show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. So, tell us, let me see what here. You also still have Gold Fever Radio. Hosting your own Gold Fever Radio show is a unique endeavor. What inspired you to start the show, and how has it enhanced your connection with the treasure hunting community?
Man, you're going down another rabbit hole.
Oh, geez. Bam, 2 for 2.
You want to go down rabbit holes tonight.
Sorry,
well, we know.
Sorry. I just know it's part of your history, and I don't look. If I looked at every treasure hunter as competition on YouTube, I wouldn't have a show.
Oh no, I definitely don't look at that. I've actually kind of when I was kind of starting, looked at your show, and kind of you're one of my I would say admirers or whatever that I had to kind of get some inspiration from. But that show really started as a joke. It kind of started with the going to somebody else to help fund a program to go around to all of the GPA camps and make them a part of everything and do that.
Right.
And that person didn't want to fund it. And at the same time, somebody else that kind of had a show wanted to go down a certain path, and I didn't want to go down the path. So I just said, you know what, screw it. I'll just start my own damn show then. So it started as a joke. And like you, now there's been so many years, you can't stop it. You just got to keep doing it.
True. You know, it's quite the beast we've uncovered, huh? You know, but I know on my end, Jack, it's a labor of love. You know, I love Tuesday nights. I love being with the community and meeting new people, or having return visitors like yourself, talking about what we enjoy doing, looking for golden treasures of all kinds. So
it is. No, I've looked at it that it's kind of like a group of guys are sitting around a campfire, and you're just kind of sharing and talking, and people are chatting in the chat rooms back and forth and communicating. It's a way for them all to come together all across the country, the world, basically, to come together and communicate once a week and chit chat, and you just have a good time and maybe share some knowledge with them or talk to them, and they'll get your goat and get you steered up, and you start going down some rabbit holes. And
oops.
Like David Villa, you instigator, you.
Oh, David, see? It's all your fault, David. Mi amigo. Shoot, I'm rusty on a lot of my Spanish, David, so.
But so, no, the whole thing you know, when I came from a very cold state when I moved to Arizona. It was in the early 90s. And then I wasn't involved with gold prospecting. And I used to, you know, just do other stuff. But I was out in, it was an Easter weekend, and a group of us actually went camping. And I walked across, left the camp to go do my morning duties, you know, morning constitutions, as they say. And I stepped over this stream, and I'm up on this bank looking down in the stream, and I saw all that black sand in the stream. And for some reason, it struck a chord in me. So I called my father that used to work at Kennecott at the time, and I asked him what this black sand was all about, because it's something I just knew this black sand meant something. And then he gave me the old saying, you know, wherever you find black sand, you find gold, but wherever you find gold, you know, wherever you find gold, you'll find black sand, but wherever you find black sand, you don't always find gold. Well, all I heard was gold. Gold? I want some gold. So I went into town, now Easter weekend. There was no prospecting stores, nothing like that, but I had to find a gold pan. So I went to Safeways was open. So I went to Safeways and I bought a pie. Now, some people know where this story's going. So I bought this pie, and I came back to camp and gave everybody the pie, and I just wanted to get rid of this pie. I took that pie pan down, and that was my first gold pan, and I'm in a creek panning with that pie pan. I hadn't a clue what I was looking for, how to do it or anything. I just wanted to get me some gold. But that was kind of the starting of it. Then went into town after that. When I got back home, man, I started buying pans and sluice boxes, and away I went.
You got hooked.
Yeah, I got gold fever really bad. So I mean, gold fever really means something to me in itself, because I took off, and well, this was early 90s, and so I went to California. I met a friend, and he hooked me up with GPAA, and then we went to California. Actually, it was Italian Bar on a dig, and that's where I joined LDMA at, was there. And then I bought a dry washer, and I mean, I just went crazy. I live out by Stanton, and so back then there was really no mining claims out here, so we could go any place we really wanted to and just dig any place. And I got so ate up with gold that I would take off. At that time, I was doing high school or school pictures, so I worked for some of these photography outfits, and so you know, you have weekends off and holidays off and summers off. So I would take off, and I'd be gone for months at a time. I left the family. I didn't care about nothing. I just went prospecting. That's all I cared about. Gold took over me so bad that I would have gave everything up. A house, I didn't care. You know, I mean, back then the wife, she actually left because she couldn't be a part of this thing I had. So I didn't care. I mean, all I cared about was gold. So it is definitely a fever.
That can happen, you know, but hey, it is a fever. I know that much for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mellowed out over the years. So, you know, then when then there was a rumor that actually there was another thing. I moved to Wickenburg.
Okay.
And I was still into mining, and we was camping one weekend. I met a friend that used to be a White's metal detector guy. We were camping, and he says, "Oh, I can get you White's detectors at wholesale." I thought, well, why can't I just get a White's detector at wholesale? I love to buy stuff at wholesale. So I called White's and I says, "Hey, can I be a dealer?" And they says, "Where do you live?" I told them. They said, "Yeah, you can be a dealer." I said, "Oh, cool, man." So then I started carrying White's detectors. Well, at least I was a dealer for White. And then I called Pat Keene. Now, here's a story. I called Pat Keene and I says, "Hey, can I be a dealer?" He says, "Do you got a store?" I said, "Yeah, I got a store." And he says, "Okay, yeah, you can be a dealer then." So I ordered a dry washer, and I was a dealer. I figured I'll just sell this stuff out of my garage. So people just come to my garage and I sell stuff. Well, Pat called me one day and he says, "Hey, I'm going to be in town."
Uh-oh. We lose you, Jack?
I rented a building. So I rented a building, and then, well, now I got a building. I had to put stuff in it. So I had to put gold, gold pans. So I had to buy gold pans, and before you know it, I had a prospecting store.
Right.
I went black.
Yeah, we see your name.
Yeah. Can you?
Whoops, sorry I muted you on accident. Sorry. Gotta unmute yourself, Jack.
Okay.
Okay,
I
there you are. But,
okay, you can still hear me. You just can't see me, huh?
Yeah. It
Okay.
might be the internet traffic or a storm or who knows.
Oh, okay.
You know how the internet can be.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how I ended up with the prospecting store. And then I ran that for about 6 years, and I didn't want to be married to a store anymore, so I sold that and moved on.
Yeah. Both times I had my store, it was the same way. You were working to support the store and working at the store, and had a prospecting store in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, and an action sporting goods store here in town. So
Blackjack. Yeah.
So it is what it is. Hey,
yeah.
Thomas Folks, how you doing? Dave Carlisle is. Good to see you, moons over Miami. Nice. So who all do
I've
you
been down
carry
a few
now?
rabbit holes in my life.
A few, quite a few.
Yeah, a few. I'm one of them that likes to adventure. The adventure is another. No, it's I enjoy the prospecting. I enjoy the learning curve. I've owned, like, I'm a dry washer because being out here, so I dry wash. I used to collect dry washers. Back then, the wife used to hate me because of dry. I think once upon a time I had like 20 different dry washers, every manufacturer. I just, if it come to mining, I mean, I've had 4 dredges, high bankers. Used to love to go, dredging. You mentioned that earlier. I used to go to California dredging on the hookah system when you're going down, and I used to love dredging. And yeah, but now I just take it easy and help everybody else.
Help everybody else find that gold.
Yep, I don't keep gold. I don't have any gold. I got one piece of gold that I found a while back. That's all I got. I trade, sell, give away. I don't keep gold. Gold is just a commodity. I don't keep it.
You're a lot like me on that point. Actually, Gold Pro Unlimited probably owns most of my gold.
Oh, well, that's good. That's why he's Pro Gold Unlimited.
Right. Now, what kind of experience Gold Fever Adventure offers? Treasure hunting resort experience, right? Is it a lot like the LDMA camps, or how is it unique? What can a guest expect when they visit your resort?
It's probably, really, we have 2 levels as they do. We have what we call the Gold Fever Adventure member, and we have a Gold Fever member. If you're an adventure member, it's like an LDMA. If you're a Fever member, it's like a GPA member. So we have the different levels of membership, different costs. And basically what it's giving you is longer stays in the camp. It's giving you some discounts through some of the events that we have throughout the year. It gives you, either lifetime to the access of mining claims. We have a bunch of mining claims out here in the West where members go prospect on. Other than that, it's just a place for me to live, hang out, and play.
Well, one way to do it, isn't it? Definitely one way to do it. Jack, definitely.
Well, I needed a place to stay, so I might as well just went and bought a campground.
Right?
Yeah.
Good way to look at it. Good way to look at it.
One time I remember when I was staying up in Stanton, I used to live out in Gilbert. And so I used to drive up to Stanton. But back then you could leave your RV, your trailer there in storage. So I left Gilbert one time, which is probably to Stanton was about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive to go up there. So one time I get all the way up there and I forgot my keys. I left my keys at home to get into my RV, my trailer. Well, instead of driving all the way home, I just drove to the next city, which was about a half-hour away, and just bought another trailer. So.
Now, you said you moved from somewhere really cold. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Utah.
They try and tell me there's no gold in Utah. I tend to not believe them.
There's gold in Utah, but it's more fine, and anything that is of decent, probably Kennecott and them other big mining companies have it locked up.
GoPro Unlimited, he's a Utah boy. He goes, here we go.
I was going to say, don't go down another rabbit hole now.
I've already dug up a few rabbit holes already.
So being in Utah, so I used to go out when I lived in Utah. We used to go out coyote hunting all the time. Every month we'd go out coyote hunting probably twice a month. And one time we left Utah to go into Nevada and back into Utah from the bottom part of Utah. And I fell asleep because it was during the night. And I got up and we walked in this gas station and I'm staring at the walls. And my brother comes over and he says, "What's the matter?" And I said, "What's all this?" And he says, "Oh, well, we're in Nevada now." Well, they had all that alcohol all over the shelves. And I'm thinking, wow, I'm in the wrong goddamn state. You mean there's not a fence around Utah? I can leave? So I left Utah. At the time, my wife at the time, parents lived in Phoenix, and we'd come out to visit. And I enjoyed walking around in shorts in December while everybody else is in jackets and stuff. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of opportunities in this town. I think I need to move here. And I did.
Yes, Gar. Blind Frog Ranch is in Utah. So is Skinwalker Ranch. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so last year we went out to the Moon Lake Treasure Hunters Rendezvous, and that they talked a lot about the Terry Carter puts that on. Talked a lot about the Skinwalkers and then out there in the Duchesne area. So there's a lot of stuff out there. I wouldn't mind owning property around Duchesne. If one day I may buy a lot out there just to have a place to go play, to go stay.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever done anything with Terry out in the field? Any type of treasure hunting at all?
No, he's been out here a few times on some of the same treasures that we've chased, but we haven't, touched or, our paths haven't connected because it's been different times on both of us as he's come out.
Okay.
No, so just from out there, from the Utah.
Now, let me see you. I was gonna ask about another person. I've had him on the show a couple of times. Doggone it, I'm having a brain fart on his name. He's a musician too. He was on Mysteries of the Superstitions.
Oh, Wayne Tuttle.
Yes, Wayne Tuttle. You ever hang out with Wayne or do any exploring with Wayne and those guys?
Yeah, it's Wayne and Woody and Frank.
Yeah.
They did that superstition show. And a few months ago, we went out to the Don's Camp, which was the Dutch Hunters Rendezvous. And so went out there to that, and Wayne was out there, and Dutch or Frank and Woody, and you have people that come in speakers, and they talked about the Dutch Hunter and all of that type of stuff. And so got to explore the backside of the superstitions. And man, I could spend months out there just exploring and the things that one can go do out there and play and hang out, the trouble one could get into. No rabbit holes in Utah. Gold Pro Unlimited. Oh, there's an awful lot of them out there in Utah. There's more rabbit holes in Utah than
All kinds of rabbit holes in Utah.
oh yeah, we could tell you some hellacious stories from out there, but yeah, we got to keep this a family show.
Now, don't you have a visitor there that comes by and visit once in a while? We all know who's in the chat room right now. Our friend Pennyweight, Lucky Ducky Thomas Folks.
Yeah, he comes out. He's never come to camp. He keeps saying he's going to every time he comes out, when he comes out to Apache Junction area and all of that. But yeah, he doesn't come out this way. We're too far west.
Shame on you, Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas is a good friend of mine. I really enjoy the company of that man when I'm able to enjoy it.
Yeah, he's coming this year. Okay. Yeah, I met Thomas out there when we were out at the Colorado Gold Camp a few years ago. Ran into Thomas out there.
Cool. Was that, what's that, Silver City or
No,
Leadville?
the Cottonwood Trails Camp.
In Indiana?
Yeah,
Oh, you came to Indiana?
I guess so. We did. Remember, we used to do dredge camps.
Oh, it was
we
during
did
the
one-
dredge camp, huh?
Yeah, we did one in Colorado, and we did one out there. Another rabbit hole we don't want to go down. My life is full of rabbit holes.
Yeah, okay. Now, if I knew you I might have tried to make it more to that dredge camp if I knew you were going to be there too.
But we ran it. We put it on.
Oh, you totally ran it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to think of another name I found thought was associated with that.
Gold Pro Unlimited. Could we call you Jack Rabbit?
He'll answer to pretty much anything. Right, Jeff?
You know, the funny thing was, I see my name. I always hated the name Jack. I don't know why, I just have. And so when I came to Arizona, so one of the jobs I had here was take, like I said, school pictures. So I started working for this company, Life Touch, which is, they're pretty well known in a lot of places, but they give you badges to put on. And so they said, so when I applied for the job, they said, what's your name? So I said, my name is Rick. And so they said, okay. So they made my badge and it said Rick on my badge, which was really cool. So I'd go to school and take pictures of these kids and all that. And I'd have my badge on, Rick, and everybody'd say, hey, Rick, what's happening? And I'd say, hey, what's happening? It was all cool for a few weeks until I got my first paycheck and it said Rick on it. and I had to go tell him, Rick's not my real name. So,
It's not your real name.
well, anyways, I've learned to live with it over the years. What happened to Jack?
Yeah.
Jack Frost. Jack disappeared. He's
Yeah.
in the background. He's a ghost.
At least you can all hear him still, right?
A
So,
ghost that you can't see.
and I don't want to hunt down a picture of you, and I'm sure I have one somewhere that I could stick up.
Oh, yeah.
I take photos of kids with fake name. With a fake name? Huh? What you talking about, Mitch?
Well, he's graveyard, so if he's taking...
I don't know.
Don't know. That might be one of them rabbit holes you don't want to go down either.
Okay, let me see. Well, how do you foster a sense of community among treasure hunters at your resort, Jack, and club? And what events or activities contribute to the building of those connections?
Well, let's see here. This camp, it used to be a Christian camp. And the Christian camp, the guy that owned the camp died. And then, so the minister and all them ran the camp forever. And then they all went off the wagon, I guess, or went on the wagon and kind of destroyed the place until the police moved in and ran everybody out. So it sat dormant for quite a few years. But there was a church on the property, and the church we have turned into our clubhouse. So that's our clubhouse, and and there's a meeting room and where we have dinners and stuff like that. But the end of the year, we have what we call our New Year's extravaganza, where we have a bunch of material and we have a band that comes in and karaoke, and we just have a big party. And we got material that everybody, we got a pond we fill full of water, and we run high bankers and dry washers, and then everybody shares the gold that we find, and then we just have a party. And that's what we do at the end of the year. And then every month we have a big metal detecting field that we do monthly metal detecting hunts on. It's a planted coin hunt that we do. And yeah, other than that,
Cool.
we just hang out.
Hang out, have a good time, socialize, find gold, and
the treasure hunting, I've hooked up with some other guys that got into, that are more. I've always been big in treasure hunting. You can't see, but years and years ago, I got this book here. Let me see what date this says.
Yeah, it's a shame your camera ain't using, because I got all kinds of.
Was that my camera, or?
It's on your end.
Oh, well, I didn't know. Okay, I just saw it said start video. Let me see what happens if I click that. Oh, I thought it was on your end.
No, I stopped my camera on that end because I thought I was glitching a little.
Oh, it says start camera. Oh, okay. Yeah, it just says start camera. It's got a line through it. And then you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it. Oh, okay.
Did I push the wrong thing? Is my view still up there?
Yeah, I still see you.
Oh, I see was. Okay. Doggone it, Ed.
Gosh darn it, Ed.
Sorry, everyone. It was me.
But start my video. The host asked you to start your video. Start my video. Hey, look at that.
I thought I stopped my camera.
He's back.
Stop video.
Okay, so we're rolling.
Make a show self. See, okay, let me see. Okay,
Hey,
that stops my camera. Sorry, everybody. It's I blame it on blonde moments. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
There,
So,
right there.
okay, I see myself.
Right, Brian Wilder, blonde moments. Yes, sir.
Blonde moments. Yes. Okay. That's okay. So so I got this book that I kind of put together. This was 2008. And this was basically, it says, In Search of Buried Treasures. And it was, oh, I got a camera now. So I kind of put this book together, and it was basically that I'm out looking for the treasures of like the Wickenburg Massacre and some of the other, treasures in this book. So I put it together. It's just self-published. There's also a section in here that says, how old is this can? You know, when you go to mine dumps and you see a bunch of cans, well, it tells you how to date the cans by the sizes and the types of cans. So I put this out, sold a few copies, and then it just sat in the closet. And then somebody asked me a while back about it. So I brought it out, but made them some copies, just printed some copies up. But then I put it on Amazon as a Kindle. So it is on Amazon as a Kindle, In Search of Buried Treasures. But anyway, so I've always kind of been into treasure hunting. And then I ran into a couple guys out here that are more big into treasures, that are big friends with Terry Carter and stuff like that. So we started going out treasure hunting, and then I got into the Spanish symbols and looking for Spanish treasures
Right.
and the turtles and following a lot of these, and think we've come close to finding some cool stuff. And so somebody thinks he just found one of the Spanish treasures, and so we're kind of investigating that right now. Is kind of what we're doing.
Ooh. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it would be. He thinks he found some Spanish bars that we're waiting on different things to happen and got to file a claim on. Anyways, but so treasure hunting is kind of cool. So that's why it was incorporated, the both of them together, because they do kind of intersect. Gold is treasure in itself.
Yeah. I also kind of look at the people I've met through YouTube and my time in the prospecting community and treasure hunting community. Them are also a treasure. Like everyone in this live chat room right now is a treasure.
In some form or another. Some may be diamonds, some may just be diamonds in the rough.
Others are garnets.
Yeah. But everybody's a treasure one way or another.
Right.
Yeah. And if you want to know what you are,
Thomas Pennyweight Folks says lead.
everybody can pick their own treasures, really.
David Villa says he's a chunk of coal. Hey, now that's what I get in my stocking. I get visits from Krampus and I get coal. So. Excellent. What else can I come across? If any of you have any questions you'd like to ask Jack, please feel free to ask. Just tag me in the chat so it stands out to me so I could see it easier. Be greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated.
No questions of going down no rabbit holes.
G'day, Terry. How you doing? Sent you an email earlier, Terry, so if you haven't seen it yet, you should have one in your mailbox. Okay, Gold Fever Radio Show likely covers a variety of topics related to treasure hunting, like this one. Can you share a few of your favorite episodes or topics that you've discussed on your show?
You really want to go down that rabbit hole?
Another rabbit hole.
No, no. What somebody says, David says, have you had, I can't read it because it's got some, have you had scorpion hunts? Oh, no. We found some scorpions here in camp, not a whole lot. I've probably found, I don't know, 4 or 5 scorpions throughout the years. I've probably only found 2 snakes throughout the years. But I've always had a theory in life, no matter where I've lived in Arizona, that they all have to eat. All them critters have to eat. And if you don't want snakes, you got to get rid of the mice. If you don't want scorpions, you got to get rid of crickets. And so, as long as you keep the spray and your bugs and their food source away, you'll keep the critters away. And it's worked pretty good. I get out back where I don't spray and stuff, and I'll run into some of them critters. I think some of the coolest stuff is probably, you mentioned it kind of earlier, when there's a group of people and they're all talking and they get you. See, I'm not afraid on the show to kind of speak my mind, I guess. So I go down some rabbit holes that I don't care,
Right.
And it could piss some manufacturers off, I should say, but that's just me. If they don't like it, oh well. I try to, feel like I speak the truth about a piece of equipment, good or bad. It's just my feelings.
Right.
But I will do that. So these guys, they trick me, and they do it on purpose to get me going, and then I just start rambling about certain stuff. But we have a lot of fun, and that is kind of fun when you're just kind of chatting and talking and giving insights. They may ask, feelings on certain detectors or feelings about certain equipment, and I don't mind sharing that knowledge that I have learned throughout the years. It's my opinion, right or wrong.
You are in that game. People aren't gonna invest in your club if they're not finding gold, and if you can't give them some sort of treasure hunting adventure, they'll go camp in BLM land in Quartzsite or
Yeah.
some other resort where they could find it. So,
And some people still camp, because right next to us is BLM land. Some people still camp on BLM because they don't want to pay camping fees. So they'll camp on BLM and still have access to the claims because they're still members. David, they really don't glow in the dark, scorpions. You use a black light, and because they're, I don't want to say hollow, but because they really don't have anyway, they really don't glow, but it makes it look like they're glowing. So they do stand out with the black light. And that's how a lot of people find them at nighttime, because they come out at nighttime to look for food. But in the wintertime, they're all dormant and they're in holes. So like if you flip over a rock or a piece of wood or something, you'll see one, kind of dormanty and stuff like that. And that's when you can squish them. But I've heard if you just take a pair of scissors and cut their pincher off at the top, they actually taste like crabs. You can eat them.
Cut their stinger off?
Yeah, you got to cut the stinger off. Then you can play with them if you cut their stinger off.
Have a pet?
Yeah, have a pet. Some of them get pretty big. Biggest one I've seen out here has probably been about, maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 3 inches maybe.
Translucent?
Okay, that's a good name for it, translucent. So yeah, once you cut that bulb off of their tail, then you're pretty good.
Hobo Rob Prospecting. If equipment works, I'm happy to say so. If there's an issue, he's probably happy to say so too.
And there's nothing wrong. I mean, a while back, I'm not going to tell no manufacturers, but I was putting this piece of equipment together, and and it pinched my finger. It fell down and pinched my finger, and my thumb went black because of that, my thumbnail. And I threw it down and I called it some names. Well, it was on a video, and I was saying, why did they put it together this way? I thought they should have put it together more this way. Well, the manufacturer called me and he asked me if I would take the video down, and I told him no, because that's reality and that's the way it was. And that's just. And another time I was running a piece of equipment trying to do something. I was trying to show how it could actually lose some gold, and that manufacturer called me too and asked me what I was trying to prove. And I told him, and he wasn't happy with that either. But I've never in my entire life, never, ever in my entire life met a manufacturer that makes mining equipment says that their equipment loses gold. All of them capture gold, according to them. But according to the prospector, they may not. So.
Well, I've heard some far-fetched tales. And I've always said, if any manufacturer tells you they have 100% gold recovery, they're liars. There's always some gold that you lose. Just
absolutely.
What are you willing to lose is the question. How much gold are you willing to lose?
Well, it's like, so out here we dry wash. So
right.
If you can run, say, a high banker, and when you run a high banker, you know how that is. You put a shovel in there, you let the water go over it, wash the material, and sends it on down the sluice, and then you can put your next shovel in. When you're running water, the key is you can't break the flow of your water, because then that can send out pieces of gold. So you got to kind of feed it almost slower and not allow that to break the flow of the water. When you're dry washing, you can just shovel that in as fast as you can. And that material is going to go over them riffles and on the way down. So you can run a lot more material dry washing than you can running it wet. But you'll get better gold recovery running wet compared to running dry. For you get little pieces of gold stuck to clogs, or little clogs that don't break up. Mm-hmm. So dry washer might lose, let's say if you lost 10% dry washing, 15% dry washing, what you gain in speed. Well, I know some people run it twice, their materials say run it twice, but to me, to run it twice to get the 10% or 20% that I lost, I'd rather just run new material, and I'll leave that for somebody else to run that there. But I like to dry wash. I'm a dry washer.
I have yet to dry wash. I know the concept, and I know you want your material bone dry, bone dry. But I've never lived in an area where dry washing was an option, really. I've always been fortunate to live in areas where I've gold mined or prospected that had plenty of water. So
that's nice to have water. Yeah, the material has to be dry. You have some machines like Keen's got the larger one that has the motor that has the hot air heat induction motor on that kind of takes the heat off of the manifolds and sends it in through there. That kind of helps dry the material, but it works better when you've heard the term vibrostatic and stuff like that. So you like it because of the static. Got finer gold will actually stick to the static. So you do like it to the drier it is, the better, the more static you have. But you can run semi not wet. If you grab the dirt in your hands and it doesn't break apart, then it's probably too wet to run. But long as it kind of breaks apart, you can run some pretty damp dirt. Just kind of run it a lot more slower. And you might not get as much gold, but hey, you know what? It works. So.
Well, the next time I can get to Arizona and I can get out in your neck of the woods, will you take me out dry washing?
Oh, absolutely.
You heard him, everybody.
Hey, I'm not afraid to PA Patriot Prospecting. All right. I'm not afraid to help anybody out, take anybody out that wants to learn how to do anything. Absolutely. I may not stick with you all day long. I'll take you out and show you where to dig and then leave you there.
That's fine. Or we could share some cervezas and
Oh, yeah.
and just go take turns shoveling in.
Yeah, no, we could do all of that. Absolutely.
I do want to get more proficient with my detector in many forms. So, you know, I don't have a lot of gold to use the detector on here, so I do my relic hunting out here. Dan, good to see you, Patriot Prospecting. Thanks for joining us.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. You mentioned something earlier. I forgot I don't know what it was you were saying.
Treasure porn, you only have one gold nugget now. So
Me? Yes, I only have one piece of gold nugget. I don't have it with me.
Pardon me. Any other questions in the chat? Let me see what. Sustainable and responsible treasure hunting is increasingly important everywhere. How do you promote ethical practices and environmental stewardships among your guests and within the treasure hunting community?
That's high tech.
Well, here at Tuesday Night Hangout Live, sometimes we ask the tough questions.
Well, let's see. Everybody here is pretty well, everybody's pretty good here. Newbie will come into camp and I will point out where people are kind of digging at. And if they go up to that guy and say, hey, I'm a newbie, they'll be more than happy to point them in the right direction to help them out. So everybody here kind of helps out everybody. We've never had a problem. People that are digging, they'll put their buckets in there to mark their hole, or they'll stack up some rocks like a claim marker or something.
Right.
People
Make
generally
their day
respect that.
claims.
Well, they go because they go every day or once,
Right.
Some people come out once a week or something. And so generally people respect that. And there's, you'll always have your bad apples once in a while, but for the most part, everybody's pretty good at that. And treasure hunting is a whole nother game because you get into, I guess to me, if I'm metal detecting and say I find some old coins or something like that, or you're going into a park, those are treasures too. Because
Yes,
anything
sir.
that's lost, from the past, those are all treasures.
Yes,
and then
sir.
you get into your old Spanish treasures. That's what I love to do, is get in the old Spanish treasures and stuff like that. Now you're getting into your antiquity acts and different things like that. And
Right.
can you own it and can you not? And you got to shut up and different things like that. But my parents live in Utah still. So when I go out to visit, I always take my detector with me and I stop in a couple of parks on my way out there, and I always detect in these parks. I picked up that piece of, oh no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to get involved. I have a manticore that I
Right.
think that I think the Nox is better than the manticore.
I was kind of wondering about that machine, but that's another rabbit hole. I've already stepped into how many rabbit holes already tonight with you, Jack. So
well, I can tell you my honest thing. I took the manticore out to Utah one time, and I went in this old park that was back in the early 1900s because I wanted to find some old coins. So I'm in this park swinging this manticore, And like on the Knox, and I don't know the exact numbers, but like a quarter on the Knox, it'll say like 87, 87, 87, right around about in that, figure number. A nickel's pretty well steady, dime, all that's pretty well steady. If it can identify the target, then it kind of bounces all over the place. And that's kind of how you know if it's junk or not. So I've got used to that Equinox, but I tried with the Manticore. So I'm in the park and it's bouncing all over 89, 50, 40, whatever. I dig it up and it's a quarter. I'm thinking, wow, how weird that is. It should have been locked on a number. And it did that for all the coins I was finding, dimes, quarters, they were bouncing all over. But man, a pull tab, 45, 45, 45. It locked in on those pull tabs, man. It's got them down, but coins, no. So I would stick with my Equinox over the Manticore. Now, that 900 is probably the one I would go with over the Manticore, the 900 Equinox. The only good thing that Manticore has going for it has that 2D screen on it. So, all the good stuff is supposed to be on the line. But anyway, that has another thing too. So, but we won't get.
We don't want to go down that rabbit hole either.
No, we won't get too far involved with that. But that's just my feelings, my thoughts.
I could ask you to be my co-host when I have Debbie on from Mind Lab
thank
USA.
you. Yeah.
We could go over a few things like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, we don't even want to go down that. No. If you mention my name to her, she won't come on your show.
Okay, note to self, don't bring up Jack Tucker with Debbie.
Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. and just we'll leave that all at that.
Hey, Peanut Prospecting, how are you doing? Bill Marsh, Ohio Relic Hunter says, sounds like Jack got one of the bad coils. They had a bad run for the M cores.
Had a bad run?
Yeah, bad run of coils.
No.
Ohio Relic Hunter says.
I don't think it's bad coils because everything else works fine. It's just that. And I took it out where I was supposed to find these gold coins. And, you can bring your discrimination or your, the gray screen up atop, those people that have that. You can bring that all the way down to the line so you can filter out all of that junk. Didn't matter. It still beeps on everything and still lit everything up. It was just, I was having a hard time using it. So I thought, I think I'll put that machine up for adoption. So if anybody's looking for one.
If you're looking for the M core from Mind Lab,
yeah,
hit up Jack Tucker.
It's slightly used.
But I'm sure it's in good shape, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's only been out probably, the coral probably is not even scuffed.
Oh, wow. There you go. Like new Manicore from Mind Lab.
Prospector tested.
Right on. Hey, JP, how you doing, brother? So, where do you see yourself besides... I know we've touched on this one way or another earlier, but where do you see yourself next year this time?
Well, I know where I'd like to be, but whether, what you like and what you want are two different things. So you have to anticipate, you have to set your dreams, what you'd like, but you have to be willing to accept what may happen or come your way. So where I would like to be is out of this camp. I shouldn't say out of this camp. I still will be a part of this camp, but I want to be able to travel more, to go play more and do what I want to do, and just have to come back here to help them out with outings and events and when I need a place to stay.
There you go. Sounds good. So if
Oh,
anyone's interested in picking up the majority share of an already established gold prospecting adventure treasure hunting resort,
oh,
does that include the club with it too?
no, no, it doesn't include the club, but it gives them access to the claims where they can have the access
Now,
to the claims.
with your claims, how many, or with your club, how many claims does it offer?
Well, I have 22 claims, and they can consist, from 160 acres of claim down to 20 acres of claim. All the claims are in the western United States, from Lake Mead to Lake Havasu to Franconia to Quartzsite to Wickenburg. They're all up in
They're all in
that area.
Arizona, in western
Yes,
Arizona?
yes.
Okay, so you have none in Utah or neighboring
No,
states.
no. Once upon a time, years ago, I probably had, I'm going to say, I had over 250 mining claims once upon a time. And that's back way before BLM changed all the rules. But I had them in
Right.
all the Western states, from Montana, Utah, Oregon, Nevada. I had them in every state there was, the Western states. So I would take off on the road, and I'd be on the road for 5 months just traveling around maintaining my mining claims. And I enjoyed that, and I had fun. Now, Patty's Adventures, I don't see her in here, but I just got a thing saying, look up. I guess I'm looking down, and rather than looking up at the screen. But I'm going to explain the reason why that is because, so up here I'm looking up. So now I'm looking up, but right here on my phone is where I'm seeing the show at. So it's low. So I've got it sitting down at the desk. So that's why I'm looking down and not looking
His
up at the camera.
monitor is down
Yeah.
below. So,
Yeah.
um, well, Patty, we love our lurkers here too, because I know I have a few of them that join us from time to time, like Two Toes and Dan Hurd or Pioneer Polly and a couple of others. And we love our lurkers too. Also, while I'm thanking our lurkers, I'd also like to thank the listeners over at Spotify and iHeartRadio that listen to the replay weekly. That's greatly appreciated from all of you. And yes, of course, you, Chillin' and Grillin' Adventures with Dan B. Also a channel member. Thank you, sir.
Now I thought about putting this thing closer to the computer here, but my computer's a touch screen, and if I touch it, it'll screw something up, and I can't touch my monitor,
Ah,
so
the joys of having multiple monitors.
I know you're lucky. I that's too high tech for me. I can't figure that stuff out. I'm doing pretty good just doing what I'm doing.
It's convenient, but it does put some wear and tear on my RAM on my computer.
Oh, see, and I don't, just like, so when I do the videos, I do everything on my phone. I have the iPhone 15 Pro, whatever it is, the newest one, titanium. But
Ooh.
I shoot with my phone, I edit with my phone, and I upload with my phone. So everything's on my phone. I don't use my computer, nothing.
The phone is such an awesome tool nowadays compared to back in the day, And you're a little older than me, so you remember like the first car phones that came out. It was like, hello, yeah, you're holding a thing as big as a shoebox.
Well,
And
not that bad, but yeah, no, I had that car phone. The cool thing with the car phones that we really liked, because that used to put out 5 watts on the car phones, and your handhelds only put out like 3, I think it was. So you got a lot better clarity and distance with your car phone than you did with your other phone. And so I always enjoyed that car phone. And then when you left the car, it was in a bag, so you could just take it with you. But no, the other phones, your handhelds, they were big bricks. They
right?
were only about that big. It
Well, I
wasn't a whole
know, I
lot
know
to
they
them.
weren't like the old military walkie-talkies or so, but
No.
they were good size, like a nice sized brick. You're right there.
Yeah. You know, and the funny thing was where I lived at, I got this whatever, how I don't know how I got it. I saw if I wanted to be a tester for cell phones at the time, and we're talking, I don't know how many years ago. So I went to this class and they talked about cell phones and what we had to do. They would give us a cell phone and we would use it to give our feedback and stuff like that. But we had to stay within a circle. And the circle may have only been like 2 blocks or 3 blocks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted our feedback and all of that. And I thought, no, wait a minute here. This is such a stupid idea. There's no way I'm going to carry that cell phone with me and document and call anybody on my cell phone. I've got my house phone that does everything. So why do I need a stupid cell phone for? I thought that was the most stupidest idea in the world. Well, look where they are today. So
Yeah, who has a landline anymore? I don't. Do you?
Yeah,
Huh. Wow.
because of the business.
Oh, true. Yeah, yeah.
But it is hooked into my Starlink. I did go with Starlink finally. I got rid of HughesNet and I went with Starlink, and that's what I'm using. So it's still not as fast as yours because you're probably, like wired directly rather than
Yeah,
computer,
I'm
right?
hardwired right into my router, and
Yeah, so that's a lot better than satellite. So
I do pay for a little more bandwidth on my upload instead. Like, I have a ton of download, but I am a little faster on my upload, so that's good. It helps with live streams.
well, you got to do what you got to do.
That you do. Let me see. Any of these. What, ask that one. I asked that one.
I don't know how to put this up any higher so I can look over that way. I'll pretend I'm looking up. Now, if I had darker glasses, I could look down where you think I'm looking at.
Right. You might get called out again about it. Hey, Carl, Ellsworth, Carl, how are you and the girls? The treasure hunting community is pretty diverse, Jack. How do you cater to enthusiasts with varying levels of experience and interest at Gold Fever Adventures? We might have hit a little on that too.
Oh, well, there's Shiny Gold. Willie Shiny Gold.
Willie
Brad. See,
Shiny Gold. Is
we
he?
call him Pound Brad, Gold Pound Brad.
Well, I've seen some of his stash, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Or is that another rabbit hole?
Yeah, that's another rabbit hole. Yeah, he's Pound Brad. He's found over a pound of gold up there on that hill.
Well, I think I'm gonna check and see if Brad will take me out. Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Take me out digging. I need to pay for my trip and more.
Well, we believe there's still gold there, but it may be deeper than what we can get. I got to get a backhoe up there and do some excavating.
Dynamite.
Dynamite. You went silent.
Thank you, Yeti. I was reading chat. Sorry.
I thought you...
And I know dead air is bad air. Thank you for being here, Chris. Have a great one, Yeti Mountain Trading. great to see you always in my live chat.
Dead air. You know, when you mentioned dead air, when I first moved to Arizona, so this was back in the 90s, early 90s, probably like 91, I think, early 91 or late December 1990, January 1991, somewhere around there. When I first moved to Arizona, the very first job I took was a DJ at a country radio station. And I was there for about 3 years. So anyway, when you talk of dead air, that's what I refer back to, dead air. You can't have no dead air.
Dead air is bad air.
Dead air.
Now, where if you had unlimited resources, no rules to hinder you, rules or regulation, nowhere at all was out of bounds. Money was no object. Where would you take your treasure hunting adventures?
I'm gonna say you went no, or you went. Or I see. Okay, I see your lips moving. I'm watching down on the other screen.
No. Pay attention to your ears, Jack. There's a latency with that on your other screen.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. No, I've always marveled at people that will pack up and leave the state to go several states away to look for gold when they're driving over so much or passing over so much. There's so much gold in your own backyard. Well, maybe not your backyard, but in my backyard. There's so much gold out here in Arizona. So to take off to go to like Canada or something like that, there's gold probably almost everywhere, but you're driving over so much gold to get to that. I'm happy in my own yard, looking for gold.
Wouldn't you, like, summers get awfully hot in AZ. Now, wouldn't you like to hit like Washington State or Montana or Idaho or the Yukon or Nome or something during your summer?
Well, I've been to Nome twice. I went to Nome with the GPA back in, I think it was 2007.
At Cripple Creek?
Cripple River.
Cripple River, rather, yeah.
Cripple River, yeah. And then I've been to the AKAU a couple years ago. I found more gold at the AKAU than I ever found at the GPA claim. And I was up there for almost 8 weeks on crew, the GPAA. And so the crew got a draw every week. And then you've got an extra one for every 3 weeks. So I had like, I don't know how many draws, 8 draws, 8, 9, 10 draws, something like that. And then all the gold I worked on my own, I probably didn't even get half an ounce of gold. At AKAU, just out metal detecting, and in just a couple of weeks that I was there, I found over 30 nuggets. I thought I did really well. I mean, I wished I would have had a better machine because I could have really found a lot more. So that was a great experience. And I think say that, I wouldn't mind doing that again. So if I had to go any place looking for gold, it would probably be, there's a lot of gold in Alaska. And the reason there's so much gold in Alaska, because you can only work it so many, months out of the year.
Right. And
it's frozen all the other time. And just like there's so much gold out in the deserts because it's just all dry. And, but Alaska has a lot of gold in it if you can get to the right place. And so that AKAU, that was a good, those were fun things. The only thing you got to get over there is the expenses. And so,
right.
Well,
now back to the original question that put us down this wormhole. And by the way, T-Rap from Washington says, come to Washington with Ed to prospect my mine. Just if I'm coming home for a visit, expect a phone call to your rep or an email. But I'm saying anywhere in the world, hell, the universe.
If I had, okay, I hear these people going on these treasure hunters where they're going to. I was just talking to a guy just last week that went. I don't know exactly where he went, Scotland or wherever it was, and finding all these coins and all this stuff. I would love to do that. That's on my bucket list to go back to one of these foreign countries like that, looking for that type of stuff. But you're talking, $4,500 or something like that for a couple
Right.
weeks or something. And so that's a little pricey, but I would like to do that if I could, because I think that would be a blast.
That would be go to England or the
Yes.
UK and find some Saxon gold hoard or some old Roman silver or
Yes. That would be fun. So that would be on my something I could do. Nothing with money wasn't an object and all of that. I would like to do that. But it's just like if you go to AKU, you just can't go for a week because if you went for a week and you get into bad weather or it ruins your whole trip and you didn't get to accomplish anything. So you always
Right.
got to do as many weeks as you can. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, at least 2 weeks, anything. So you'd have to go back there for a couple of weeks too. You're in the air half a day, or a day I'm going, day coming back, and
Right.
but no, that'd be something I'd want to do if I had, if
I
everything wasn't.
believe Brian Wilder's been to that gold camp and he spoke pretty highly of it. And I believe Thomas Folks, yep, 2 weeks is a must, Thomas Folks says.
Yeah, Thomas has been back there. He was back there before we went back there. That was kind of during the COVID years. And that was kind of a nightmare we had to go through. But I remember talking to Thomas about questions. Is it worth it? And do you find gold? And what's the best? So yeah, I remember talking to him.
I know Thomas is quite often in your audience during your live stream and show. He's been there for years. So I don't doubt that you tickled his ears quite a bit and was inquisitive with them.
Well, anytime you don't know something, so I knew that he'd gone back there, so I had to ask him questions
Right.
that's how you learn about anything or what to do, what to expect if you're unaware of it. And so you got to reach out to somebody to for those unanswered questions.
Very true. Very true. Can you do me a favor, Jack? Pick one of your very best stories. I need about 3 minutes to go use the men's room because my coffee's going through
Okay.
me.
Okay, I will tell some stories.
Sorry, everybody, but I really need to pee.
Okay. Some people have asked me if I would maybe put some of these stories together because of the old days in prospecting and
You
stuff like
should.
that. But so I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you some stories.
Okay.
Some of you guys have.
I'll be right back.
Okay, some of you guys probably know these stories, but one time, me and this other guy, we was out prospecting, and we were up in the national forest, and it gets cold at certain times of the year when we were up there, and we were up, exploring, and we came across these very long aluminum pipes, and I think they were used for irrigation. Your 20-foot irrigation pipes, and so I grabbed one of them, and I hauled it all the way back to camp. And what I had done with that pipe is I stuck the one end of that in the fire, because we'd have these big, massive fires that we used to just we always had good fires. So we had this big fire. So I stuck the one end in the fire and I stuck the other end in my tent. And we went to bed at nighttime in that heat. From the fire would go up in that pipe, and oh man, it just warmed the tent, and it was so cool. And I'm all this. The other guy I was with was yelling at me, saying, "How is it?" I'm saying, "Oh man, this is warm in here. This is feeling good." And he was saying, "I'm going to get me one tomorrow. I'm going to do that too." So
Travis Riley, good.
Well, so I knew I was going to get a phone call. I got to call him back. I had a friend that just got word just before I came on here that had passed away. And so my phone's been ringing kind of off the hook. But anyways, and so he was saying, I'm going to need to give me one of them tomorrow. Well, so I went to sleep, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up coughing. The fire had gone out and all this smoke just came in and filled my tent full of smoke. So I was lucky it probably didn't suffocate me or kill me or anything like that there. But so that anyway, that was one story there. That was kind of a funny story. I could tell you a lot of them type of stories. Guess that's not back, so I'll tell you another. So we were out prospecting one time, and we were going to cook up something. I don't know what we were going to cook up, but it started to kind of sprinkle a little bit. So I said, well, I got an easy up. So we put this easy up over us, and we're sitting under the easy up, and it's raining all around us, and we got chairs sitting under there and saying, oh, this is pretty cool. But we still needed to do a fire. Well, we knew if we started a fire, it would burn the tent down. We thought, well, maybe if we just did a little dinky fire, where we could like roast a hot dog or something like that, we'll just make a little dinky fire. So we made this little fire, and we're sitting there and just laughing, having a gay old time. Well, not really thinking that the heat still rises, and well, it still burnt a hole. And once it started burning, the whole top of this easy up just disappeared. So we're sitting there, this easy up, and it's just pouring rain on us. And we're just sitting there roasting our hot dogs and figure, what the hell, might as well make a big fire now. So anyway, there's a lot of those type of funny stories, that could talk about. But you made it back.
Yeah. Thank you very much. My bladder needed that. I was sitting here cross-legged and doing the pee-pee dance in my chair. So, but yeah, I'm back. Back to cause more trouble and go down more rabbit holes with the one and only Jack Tucker.
Yeah, so anyway, so those are stories. Some people asked how I first got involved with, well, we talked about gold fever earlier, and how, so I joined this club out here when I first kind of moved out here into this area. I joined a few clubs, but in my area at the time, I joined this club, and I took my dry washer and I went out dry washing one day. Now this is July, so it's like 120 degrees. You were talking the heat earlier. So I loaded my truck up and I go out to this claim, and it was what we used to call the hellhole. You'd have to drive down this ravine, and then you'd have to haul all your equipment to the bottom down in there, but you'd dry wash it. So I haul all my equipment down in there, and all I kept thinking about, I was going to die, and nobody even knew I was out here. Nobody knew, but I'm picking at this bank, and I'm sweating, and I thought, let me just hurry and run this material really quick and get the hell out of here. So I ran the dry washer for maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes, got all my concentrates. I go up, set it behind the truck, and I crawl in the truck and turn the air conditioner on. I got a cooler of ice next to me, and I'm rubbing my face with this ice and just trying to cool down. And I just kept thinking I was going to die, and I'm an idiot for being out here in this heat. But I thought, well, let me just go pan this out really quick and get out of here. So I go out there and put some water in the panning tub, and I pan that out. That pan had so much gold in it. What do you think I did? Right back down into that wash I go again, and I'm dry washing again. I forgot about the heat. But fever is a real thing. That is for sure. Gold fever is a real thing, and it can do some strange. I've lost some friendships over, gold, because, gold is just one of them things that does crazy things to people.
Yeah, some people get all Humphrey Bogart and Sierra Madre with it. I've often said gold has a way of either bringing out the worst characteristics in a person or the best characteristics of a person.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I've lost a couple friends over gold, and me, I don't keep gold. I used to keep gold for the longest time. I used
Yeah.
to have so much gold. I mean, but I'd have to pull it out of the safe to show people and then put it back in the safe. And I thought how stupid all that is, you know.
Then
And
you
so
got to
one
worry
day,
about people stealing it and
yeah, back then gold probably wasn't worth anything, you know. I think maybe $250 an ounce, I think it was, or something like that. But still,
right.
I had big nuggets I had a lot of gold. But so I took all that gold, I took pictures of it all, and then I went to a mining store and traded a bunch of it for mining equipment. I got me a big dry washer, and ever since that day, I've never really kept gold. I don't keep gold. Like I said earlier, gold is just that commodity. That's all it is to me. It's
Now, do you know any of the history of Washington State?
well, I'm not.
Like Liberty, it's Liberty, Washington is a late 1800s mining town that still has active mining to this day. There's an old ancient channel there they call the Potato Patch, where they're still pulling nuggets out of. Gold Hunter 77. Nick, the geology professor at Central Washington has some good videos on the Liberty and the Potato Patch, I believe.
Is that so? I always get the Washington states confused. That's above Oregon, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I get the other one and that one confused as to which
Oh,
one is which. But
Washington, D.C., where all the
yeah, yeah,
criminals are, and then
yeah.
Washington State. Yes, Nick
Well, I
Zentner. Yeah. I'd love to
the
get him on the show.
I had mining claims up there. I believe it was on Money Creek in Washington where I was at. And I used to love to stay when I used to travel on my journeys. I used to love to stay over in I think it was Moses Lake area
Mm-hmm.
over there. Uh, I used to like to stay in that area, just basically camping, hanging around, playing.
Nice. On the dry side of the Cascades. I lived on the very wet side of the Cascades when I was born and raised in Southern California, Jack.
Oh,
Typical
okay.
Southern California beach bum, surfer dude, skater dude. And then I left that environment for the better of my health. Let's just put it that way. For the better of my health, I left that and left the world I knew there behind me and moved to a very small hamlet in the foothills of the North Cascades. And I haven't looked back since, but I found some very nice gold there, but like you said, gold at that time was 250, maybe 300 at the max at that time. Was like the biggest gold nugget I ever found was in Northern California, and I had a stay-at-home wife and 3 kids, and I sold it the weekend I found it.
Yeah. No, let's see who, oh, says there's not much gold near Moses Lake. Yeah, I don't think I would go up, cut up through Oregon, and then I'd go into Washington. I used to cut all the way across Washington. Then I used to, camp right there near Moses Lake, someplace at some campground. And then from there, I don't remember how, I don't, my maps, I don't have the map in front of me, but when I used to do all my, because I'd go up through California, or I'd leave Arizona and go into Utah and Nevada and into California, then Oregon and Washington, and cut across and hit all the Montana and Idaho. And anyway, so I don't know how I used to, but I used to love to stay. I used to love to stay in Susan, California, was one of my favorite places. Moses Lake, Washington, and Missoula, I think it was in Montana, or
Missoula,
Dillon,
yeah.
Dillon, Montana is where it was, in Dillon area. So I had my favorite little campsites that I used to just, but then I was just kind of relaxing. To me, my mind doesn't stop thinking, or I don't stop doing something. I'm constantly moving, doing something. And so when I take off and I travel, I get to relax because I don't have all that stuff to do. So I'm kind of forced to just relax. And to me, it's
Right.
very soothing to do that. Just to sit in the campground, sit in your camper and really just look at a book or stare out the window, or just,
Would you
to me,
play in
that's
the
just,
dunes up at Moses Lake and stuff?
I don't think I did anything. I remember just seemed like they had this big bridge crossing over a freeway, and I used to just watch people cross this bridge up over the freeway, but I really didn't do anything, just hung out.
Jack needs to visit Liberty, apparently one of the better mines for sale at $1 million.
Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's a claim. There's some patented out here right next to one of the claims we have. It was for sale in the magazine there. I don't know if they're still in that magazine or not, but they're up in the millions of dollars they want for that. And that was the Desert Queen mine. And we butt right up against that, and they pulled a lot of gold off. That's where Pound Brad pulled all his gold off from.
So he was actually claimed. Are you still out there, Willie?
No, he wasn't. Well, he wasn't claimed that. That area is in an unsurveyed area. So an unsurveyed area,
Okay.
you really don't know where you're really at, or really where the boundaries are, unless you actually have a surveyor come out and say that. So one of the washes that we work in kind of goes in and out of the claim onto private back in. And so, but a lot of people just still work that wash anyways. And so that whole area, is kind of iffy. But anyways, yeah, so Pound Brad was up there, and well, there's a reason why we call him Pound Brad. So,
oh, if you don't want to elaborate, that's okay.
why? Well, put it this way. So when he was there, and when he would come into camp, and he'd have these 2 5-gallon buckets full of big rocks, and he would pull one out, and he'd run his detector over, and he said, "Here, you can have this one. Here, you can have this one. Here, you can have this one. Here, you can have this one." And then when you sit and crush them and they're full of gold, well, okay, so let's just do the math. If he's got all these 5-gallon buckets full and he give this away, then he gave me a big chunk and he said, "This is a thank you, a big chunk of gold." Oh, okay. I could just imagine the amount of gold that you got.
Right. Willie Shiny Gold. You can always send a sample my way.
Yeah. But so, no, I haven't been up there. Last time I was up there, I found, 2 pieces metal detecting. There's some guys up there we're working right now, that they've been showing me some small little pickers that they've been finding up there, working it. So they're people are out there happy and they're digging. Everybody's kind of dry washing up there, metal detecting, dry washing, and they're finding gold.
Excellent, excellent. Well, a patent, to me, I find it hard to shell out a lot of money for a non-patented claim. I think this is me thinking and talking, right? Full disclosure, because I'd rather do my chance, do my homework, look at the geology, get my feet on the ground, stake my own, and go that route instead of buying something that might have ended up being someone's downfall, or everyone selling their claim says it's worth this much and it has tons of gold on it and stuff. That's
Yeah.
just me.
No, why are they selling it for?
Right,
If it's so
right.
good, why are they? No,
Right.
if you're ever to buy a mine, because I know scrupulous people out there that will stake a mining claim and sell it before the paperwork even dries or before it's even been adjudicated or anything like that. So you really got to do your due diligence anytime you buy a mining claim. Why are they selling it for? That's the main thing. And you, like you said, you're so easier off to staking your own claim.
Right. Is that what you did? You go out, do your homework, find open ground in mineral entry areas and stake your own?
Well, you've got, I don't think I got any books, magazines, stuff here. You've got all the tools out there. BLM on their website basically tells you all the open mining claims that there are.
Right.
Closed, open, or active, I should say, active mining claims. So there's some books out there, like Arizona placer gold deposits. Nevada's got it, Utah's got it, Colorado, all these states have, these books
Right.
on where gold was found. The best way to do it, though, that I have found is you join clubs. And when you join other clubs, you get their maps. And then from their maps, the GPA magazine, same thing. All those claims in that magazine, you can look then, because that'll give you your townships and your range and the
Right.
sections. And you take all of that stuff, and then you compare that to topo maps where you're at. And then you get what's called land status maps. And these land
Right.
status maps tell you if it's private property or BLM or national forest or rec
Right.
areas, Indian. And then you'll know if it's open for mineral entry. And then you can go on BLM's website and look for active mining claims of what's active. But then I also do what's closed. So I'll do a search on closed mining claims to see who's had the claims previously, how long they had them, what area. So it gives me an idea what they were finding, and how long they were holding these claims, stuff like that there. So there's a wealth of information that's out there in your research.
And like any good prospector would say, and research, do your homework, do your due diligence, get feet on the ground, do research for the best possibilities.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd ever want to buy a mining claim from somebody, because some of these people sometimes, I'll sell my claims. Everything I own is for sale, heck, everything.
Right.
People come in and say, hey, will you sell that dry washer? If the price is right, I'll sell anything.
Right.
So I sell the claims because I'm always, getting new claims. Some of the older ones I'll let, or some of the ones that people don't like to go to for whatever reasoning. But I would hate to buy a mining claim from somebody else, because why are they selling it for? If it is so good, why are they selling? Just lease it out then and let them pay you royalties or anything,
Right.
And some of these people want so much money for some of these claims. And a long time ago, one of the local news organizations came out here and interviewed a group of us on just that these people are selling worthless mining claims. And so many people used to come in the store when I had it and say, hey, I bought this claim from blah, blah, blah. Where can I find gold? And I say, I'm sorry, you ain't going to find any gold on it, and they would get so upset. And, but yeah. Do your due diligence. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I bought a claim from a guy named Soapy Smith. How good is it? Sucker. He saw you coming, you
Well,
know.
the main thing is just find out, how long they've had the claims for. Have they had? I mean, there could be some legit stuff. That could be like, say, a guy owns a claim and he's had it for 15 years and he died, and so the wife just wants to kind of sell it. Well,
True.
there's a reasoning why then, that there's a story behind it and all of that. So that would make sense. But does she
Right.
want 20,000 for it, or does she want $1,000 or something to help
Right.
her out?
Right.
So you got to do that history, and then why are they selling?
Or some guy who's been working in, it's been in his family, passed down for a couple decades or whatever, and he's too old and too frail and not able to get out there anymore, you know. But if
So then
it's,
why not give it to his kids then?
well,
Or
what if he has
yeah.
no kids
Well,
to give it
okay,
on?
then yeah. Then he just
But
wants to get what he can get out of it.
LT, L Stanley L.
There's okay.
well, you told me, you warned me about stuff like that, Jack, and we're almost
Yeah.
done, my friend.
That's actually the third one that came through so far. Yeah.
But thank you for joining me again. I know it's been a long time since the last time you were on Tuesday Night Hangout Live. I greatly appreciate your support of Flash in Your Pan, and you being a sponsor a couple time of Flash Bash and whatnot. I thought about wearing one of your shirts that I got from you a few years back, but it don't work very good with my chroma key, you know.
Oh, yeah, I need to make some more shit. Well, that was back in the days when I was doing gold grabbers. When I bought those gold grabbers from
Yes,
Alan Trees.
actually, you own Gold Grabber that when you bought it from Alan Trees.
Yeah.
When we had you on, it was right before you sold it.
Right. I donated one of the mini gold grabbers.
Yes, for Take a Vet Prospecting Project.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just another adventure I got into and then got out of.
Another one of the adventures. I hope to definitely meet you on the river or wash one day, Jack.
I'm always here. Anybody can reach me. You gave them all the information. I'm always here to answer questions or give them whatever help or steer them in the right or wrong direction, but always here.
Yeah, all of Jack's website, channel, Facebook groups are down in the description. Check him out. Jack's a really good guy. It's been a friend of Flash in Your Pan for a while. Give a shout out for your show, your live stream, Jack.
What live stream? Oh, the radio show?
Aren't you still doing a weekly podcast?
Yeah, that's Gold Fever Radio, Gold Fever, every Wednesday night. And I had to pick Wednesdays because, like you did yours on Tuesday and somebody else did Thursday. So didn't want to compete with people. So I had to go in between them. But like, it's just kind of like just what you're doing, just kind of talking to people and having a good time. But yep.
Right.
So anyways, we want to tell everybody have a very Merry Christmas.
That
you
we
all
do.
Stay out. You all stay out of trouble. Get all the gold you can. If not that, at least get all the candy you can. So.
Right. Everybody, thank you for joining us tonight. Next week, we're having Gold is Where You Find It, formerly known as Rookie Gold Prospecting. Or Rookie Gold Prospector, Aaron, joining us again here on Tuesday Night Hangout Live. We'll be talking about his growth here on YouTube and his growth in the prospecting community and in his lifestyle of gold prospecting. Other than that, I want to thank all our lurkers each and every one of you and all our listeners over at Spotify and iHeartRadio and other podcast sites. So until then, may you always have a flash in your pan. And you know what I like to say, right? Maybe one day too, we'll meet you on the river, in Jack's case, in the wash or something.
Until
But
our paths cross again, take care, and we'll meet you in the gold fields.
that's right. Good night, everybody. But right now, you know what? We're out of here. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.